All right. Today we have Joseph Wyatt with Wyatt Automotive Repair. Joe, I want to say thank you for taking this interview. I'm doing this podcast, man. I'm doing it to not only highlight what's going on in our field, the mechanic field, but also to show blue-collar workers in a light that haven't been shown before. When we look at the interview landscape today, I see a lot of celebrities and deals like that. But I want to show blue-collar workers. So thank you for taking this interview.
No problem at all.
Okay. We're going to get straight into it, Joe. Where are you from? If you don't
I'm from Southern Illinois. So a lot of people don't know where that's at. Little town called Carbondale, Illinois. Been there since age 27. I'm 41 now. So when I was 27, I bounced around, lived in Florida for a few years. Then I ended up here in Atlanta area.
Okay. What brought you to Atlanta?
Well, my son is in Florida. So I thought about him first and foremost.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm from Carbondale, Illinois. Nobody knows where it's at, but it's about an hour and a half east of St. Louis. So I just tell everybody I'm from St. Louis.
Facts.
Everybody know where St. Louis is.
Okay.
First and foremost, instead of being 16 hours away from my son, I'm only about 6 now.
That makes
I'm
sense.
a lot closer to him. And the second thing I thought about was my career. So I was like, I want to stay working on cars. I want to build in the field or whatnot. And basically, Atlanta area, Northern Georgia area is Hollywood. That's what I look at it like. Everybody want to go to Atlanta and fulfill their dreams. So I'm like, you know what? I always wanted to move to Atlanta. For the past 20 years, I always wanted to move to Atlanta. And then I checked and I done the research or whatnot. So I put, basically just literally Googled it. What are the top 5 major cities in the U.S. as far as like working in the automotive field? What's the best places to move?
Wow.
And out of the 50 major cities or whatnot, this was number 6. I can't remember what the top 5 was, but I remember this was number 6.
That's
so
an
I was
important
like,
fact. I don't think nobody knew that. That's an important fact right
I
there.
literally done the research on it. So I'm like, you know what? I want to move to Atlanta, fulfill my dreams. This is the top 10. This was number 5 or 6 at the time or whatever. And then I'm a lot closer to my son. So I said I can kill 3 birds with 1 stone.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Atlanta, the new
So
Hollywood.
that's why I moved here. Now, when I initially moved here, I had Atlanta fever. Everybody like Atlanta. It's a hype, but the economy is here though. The money is here. The field is here. So those were the main reasons I ended up coming down here. But yeah, Carbondale, Illinois, that's my hometown, and this is where I'm stuck. I'm not leaving here. If I don't make it here, I'm that's it. So
Carbondale, Illinois is correct?
Yep.
Okay, so how, just not to get too personal in your background,
Oh,
but did you grow up rich? Like, how did you grow up? What, you had a butler? Was it like
upper poor class?
Okay.
Almost middle class, but yeah, always struggled all my life. Came from hard, living and just struggling and whatnot. And that's one of the things that got me into the field because, me not having the finances and money as a young child or whatnot, I had to figure out how to use my hands.
That did bring me to one of my next questions. That got you into the field. What was your first memory of someone working on a car? Just anybody, an uncle, a dad, or just your first memory?
My father.
Your father.
Yes. And, he been working on cars since, before I was in Pampers or whatnot. If you want to say, I classify like the old school mechanic, but I guess he is the last of the era from the old school mechanics to the new school mechanics because he knows it all. Like nowadays, you can't find too many mechanics that know how to tune a carburetor.
Okay.
He can tune a carburetor and he can tune a fuel injection system. So he is a beast with it. Yeah. So
that's your motivation to getting in the field, or did something else motivate you to get in that field? I know you said
initially him.
Initially.
Yeah.
Dad.
Like everybody want to be like dad.
Okay.
Every young boy want to be like their father. So and then I love a lot of the old schools he had or whatnot. When I was young, he loved racing cars. He loved putting cars together. He's a work junkie.
Okay.
He just loved cars or whatnot. And then when I was a kid, me and him stayed Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so we is in the northern climate. So he dealt with a lot of old schools, a lot of rusty vehicles.
A lot of rust, okay.
And I'm telling you, if you're a mechanic that deal with a lot of rusty vehicles in that type of climate, tip my hat to you because I done dealt with northern climate, all different types of climate or whatever, and I hate rust.
I don't like
rust.
rust either, man.
Yeah,
You gotta
but
put the torch to it, and
But he's the one that
Okay.
got me set on it, and I never really, out of all the years that that my dad was working on cars and whatnot, and I was just around him. He never took the time, whatever, to have me do it himself. I just sat there and watched him. I never really touched the car until I was literally like 19 years old. Never touched the car, but from the age, I'll say 4 or 5, far back as I can remember, I'll just sit there and just look at them. Just watch them or whatnot.
Okay, so a little bit before the interview, we was talking, and you said something about school, and you was talking about the Gwinnett Tech School and deals like that. Have you had any background in any schooling yourself?
Yeah, that's one thing that wanted to make me get to pursue that part-time gig over at Gwinnett. I got an associate's degree. I got a 2-year associate's degree at John A. Logan in Carbondale, Illinois, or Carterville, Illinois, which is right next to Carbondale. And then I transferred from the 2-year technical college over to a 4-year college, Southern Illinois University.
Wow.
So I got an associate's degree, 2-year associate's degree. And don't hold me to this. I think I graduated John A. Logan. That was my 2-year tech college or whatever. I graduated there in 2013. Then I want to say 2015, I graduated out of SIU. So I didn't have the grades at the moment to go straight to SIU to the university. So they started me out at the trade school, and then I got my grades up and then transferred to SIU. So I did 2 years, got an associate's degree, and then did another 2 years and got a 4-year bachelor's. So I have a 4-year bachelor's in automotive.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a stacked
Yeah.
resume, man. That's a stacked resume.
Yeah.
And especially, as you know, in the automotive field, example, me, every shop I went to, I have never seen certified mechanics. I was really the first one to come in there as a certified mechanic, and that gave me the advantage and the disadvantage. It gave me the advantage of getting paid more, even though I didn't have that experience. The disadvantage was the senior technicians didn't want to teach me, because I'm getting paid more than them. Have you had to experience that, or have you had to experience
Gatekeepers, man.
Okay.
Dude, as far as you said the older techs didn't want to teach you. Now, it wasn't all of them, but it was a lot of them I dealt with from going from shop to shop. And, you're a young mechanic in there, and you don't even have to have like an extreme or elite amount of experience coming in the automotive field working at a shop. You just got to have a lot of common sense and know how to turn the boat, And like I said, a big part of it is diagnostic and all that, but a huge part of it is being able to have the energy to keep moving and flipping them cars in and out. Okay. And due to the fact that, I was going through that learning curve when I got straight out of college, I had a lot of technicians, get mad or whatnot because I was kicking out more hours than them. And it wasn't because I was better than them, it's just because I was working at a faster pace.
There it is.
So, I noticed one thing over the years when I was working at the dealership, it's a dog kennel. It's a bunch of dogs chained to car lifts in a kennel, and they throw a piece of meat there. And whoever get that meat first, that's how I looked at it. It was a rat race. And a lot of the mechanics that was above me or whatnot, as far as like their pay rate and then, their seniority, how long they done been there and their degrees and all that, they did not want to see people up under them, quote unquote, with less experience or whatever, make more money than them. Because it's technicians in there that was making $32, $35 an hour. I came in making 18, 19, and my paychecks were fatter than them, not because I was better than them, it's because I had that drive. So it's sad, but in the automotive field, you'll get persecuted and you'll get talked down on and you'll get ridiculed and get in trouble for doing your job. And that's one thing I did not like about the automotive field. Either you're going to do the work or you're not. So.
I agree with that, man. I agree. I had similar experiences.
Man, I got so many. Yeah, there's so many situations just working from. It's a cold game, man.
I actually seen it where I worked at a dealership, and the older techs had seniority and friendship with the management. So I found it where we get commission and deals like that. You have to find your own work. Me finding my work, they would tell the customers that we can't do it that day, just to give it to one of those senior mechanics that had seniority. I would come in on my day off and I was like, hold on, I inspected that. And I noticed then that they was giving away my money that I was hustling for, like how you saying. So I definitely agree with that.
So many situations, man. I had one particular situation. I worked for the union. Now, I done worked at, over the past, I got about 11 years of experience working as a mechanic at the dealerships or whatever for Chevrolet, GM, you know. Right before I moved here around pandemic area, I used to work in Illinois or Missouri or whatnot, Illinois, Missouri state line. And I forgot the name of that dealership, but I had one situation where I had a job. I diagnosed the vehicle. I had to do a cylinder head gasket on it. And this the first and only dealership I worked at where it was an actual union. So when it came to seniority or hierarchy, they did not play about that. And I had a service writer, literally had, right after I got it diagnosed and got the job approved, I'm on my lunch break, he takes the RO, the keys and everything, and hands them to one of the other technicians or whatever, you know, that was above me, as far as pay rate and all that. And I didn't raise any hell. I just left it as it was. Like, you know what? Just let it go.
That was one of the reasons that caused me to quit that job. Because I was like, how much money they taking from me? Is this the only one I saw?
Yeah.
How much more of the inspections that you're telling me?
Man, especially with you being a flat rate.
You know, so yeah, like you said, it's a dog-eat-dog world in the mechanic. We're going to get more to that further in questions later on. But what was your first job as a mechanic? Where was that at?
Okay, so I was out of John A. Logan or whatever. I was starting my third year, which was my first year at SIU. So I think a month after I transferred, they was telling me about, you know, I can get an internship or whatever and get college credit towards it or whatever when I went to SIU. So it was a dealership in Carbondale or whatnot. Went right up there, got hired on the spot. Matter of fact, no, I had an interview on the spot that next day I got hired.
Okay, how long
but it was at, it wasn't Brick Hinge. It was a Sorensen and Shade or whatever in Carbondale or whatever. It's a Chevrolet dealership. He started me out oil changes, you know, and it was, they took it as college credits. So I think I was there about a year and a half. So I ended up leaving there, like, I think a couple of months before I ended up graduating from SIU. But it was a great experience, you know.
Okay, and you consider that was your first job?
That was my first legit paid job or whatnot, you know, my internship working at a shop, any shop ever.
Okay, did you mess up any? What was your biggest mess ups there? Did you mess up any at the internship? Because the internship is a little kind of different than being at a job off on your own, not being shadowed by another technician and deals like that. That's what I kind of wanted to know.
You know, they kept me mostly up on oil changes and stuff like that. But as far as like any like screw ups, I say my pace, you know. Okay. And I had to, that's just crazy. I had to learn how to drive a stick shift. I never drove a stick shift in my life. And the manager is like, so they'll, any stick shift that came in, they made sure they gave it to me. So when it came in the drive, in the service bay or whatever, through the drive to get ticketed and all that or whatever, right at the paperwork, I had to drive that stick shift from the drive into the bay.
Yep. I remember.
And that's how I learned how to drive a stick shift.
I kind of was getting at your first job, and I know you was telling me about your internship with the college, and I was kind of getting at my first job, right? Example, my first job in messing up and deals like that, valve cover gasket. I put a valve cover gasket, V6, put the valve cover gasket on there, come back, it's leaking on, it's leaking at the back and deals like that. Mistakes that I made that made me better when I went to my next job. So after I left, which was Stevens Automotive in Macon, right, doing valve cover gaskets, and you explained the stick shift. I didn't know how to drive stick shift either. I drove it off the lift. I drove the car off the lift. Everybody was laughing at me.
I've done that.
You see what I'm saying?
Too.
So when I'm driving,
I think at my third dealership. Yeah.
Okay.
I done. Yes. Man.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I kind of was trying to get at. Your first job, what mistakes that you made in the first shop, just kind of like I said, the valve cover gasket. You remember, this is our first time. They're giving another example, right? My son, he read a book about doctors, and what happened in his medical field is they will mess up. People can die in this medical field.
Man, yes.
But they will have a group meeting doctors around the world about the procedure that happened so that they can prevent that later on. I only say that to say, you know, in any field almost, I just gave that an example, we're going to mess up. starting out with. But that's what I kind of want to know about. Any things you messed up with, just like you said with the lift and deals like that, those type of stories. I did a water pump and left the boat at your first job. What was those mistakes? And if not,
I done done a few. No, I done done a few. I'll tell you one bad one I did, and this is like my third or fourth job or whatever when I was working in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Man, so the induction services. I done plenty of them in the past or whatever when I worked at that job, but I done them on all gas engines. This was the first one I did on a hybrid. So the induction service includes, you putting the actual liquid in the solution into the engine as you running it. You got to run it so many RPMs to get it to kick out.
Okay.
Well, on this one or whatever, I wasn't thinking in my head, like, this engine is not continuously running. It's a hybrid. So every now and then I go in there, hit the gas up, get the RPMs, and I'll leave it alone or whatnot, not realizing in my mind that with it being a hybrid, the engine was going to cut off. So I couldn't get all the solution or whatever out of the engine before I took it out on the test drive to clear it out. Now, fluid does not compress. So with that said or whatever, what happened was the fluid ended up compressing and it blew one of the piston rings and blew the motor. Blew a hole clean through the motor.
Was the boss, how did he take that? Did you get fired, write up a warning?
I'm going to tell you right now, they was not upset at all because they was even scratching their head. They knew like the concept of like why it did what it did, but they said, Joe, you didn't know any better or whatever. They wasn't hard on me at all. Even the manager, he said, man, it's not your fault. He said, and they noticed that it wasn't a big issue or whatever with how it ended up happening or whatever because I'd done so many induction services in the past. And I even had the main tech in there or whatever. His name was Steve or whatnot. I forgot his last Steve. Well, no, it wasn't Steve Best. It was Steve. I can't remember his last name. But anyways, he was like, man, he said, I never seen this. So he's like, it's kind of like a freak accident situation or whatnot. So I should have followed the procedure or whatever because you literally doing a fuel induction service. You're supposed to sit in the car the whole time.
Okay.
But I was in and out or whatever and a little bit too comfortable with it, and that was about the worst one I ever done or whatever. Thank God insurance covered it. The company covered it, insurance took care of it or whatever. It wasn't a big deal, but that would never happen again.
Yeah, I like that. I like that your boss assured you and showed you that, man. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get more. I like that. I actually like that. That shows a good character for your boss, and that actually give you a lot more confidence going forward. Because I know that was you were probably down on yourself more than anybody.
What in the? Ooh, man.
So you were probably more down on yourself than anybody, and people don't know that. You're probably and for your boss not to come in and chastise you for doing that, it give you, I bet that was a lesson learned even going to your next job.
Oh yeah.
The confidence you had going. Did you notice the confidence you had going from your first job to the second job?
Oh yeah.
Like I said,
yeah.
Again, the valve cover gasket, right? I'll tell you one of my valve cover gasket story about what just happened at Stephen Automotive at Leakin. So my next job, I was at NTB. And this is probably one of my proudest moments. And that's what I want to ask you also, one of your proudest moments as a mechanic, right? This is one of my proudest moments. I gave you the valve cover gasket job. So I went to NTB and I seen that smile. You got that story already in your head, your proudest moment. So I see that. I noticed that smirk. So I can't wait. So NTB, valve cover gasket. I accepted a job to do valve cover gasket. They didn't have faith in me. Because like you said, I'm in there doing oil changes. I start from the bottom, showing my work, and I'm gonna prove myself. They didn't believe in me. I got the car, I'm doing the valve cover gasket. Mind you, I messed up at the other shop. And this is what I was kind of getting to, the confidence and the mess ups you do at your first shop, because we're gonna mess up. Just like those doctors, you're gonna mess up. But any job, first starting out, for the most part, you don't know what you're doing, and it's kind of like how, but going into that next job, I had so much more confidence going in there. Man, I know what I'm doing, and I did the job, got him out there, and that was literally my proudest moment. When I got done, cranked that car up, and that lady was able to go, and I just looked at my coworkers like, here, I'm here to stay type of deal. So I wanted to ask you, what was your proudest moment, just as a mechanic?
I tell you what, luckily around the time that I started that job in Wisconsin or whatever at the dealership there, I walked in and I saw an engine split apart. It's like a 2016-17 Chevy Malibu. Now, right around that time or whatnot, GM had a piston recall on those engines. and I saw that motor pulled out, pistons out, rings and everything. This was my first day there. And I said, I'll never be able to do this. I was like, dang. I promise you, 3 months later, I was doing them back to back, man, the piston recalls. So on the 1.6 liter, 1.8 liter engines, they had a detonation recall on them. So basically, the injectors will fire too soon, and it'll cause spark detonation or something like that. So in order to fix it, you had to put the new piston kit, new rings in there, and reprogram the ECM. And it was basically literally an overhaul. And it was almost at the point I was honestly like, well, not literally, but I was almost at the point like I felt like I can do it blindfolded or whatnot. Yeah. But it intimidated me so much when I first looked at it. I said, I'll never be able to do this. And one of the technicians, he guided me through the first one. This was on the Chevy Equinox or whatnot. Guided me through the first one. He said, just main thing I need to focus on when I'm doing the piston recalls, when I go back in with the pistons and everything, just make sure everything is in order and make sure everything is torqued down to spec. And then, just check everything on the way out. First one, I felt, man, it felt beautiful. The second one, he said, you on your own now. And I did the second one, and then I just got more and more comfortable with them or whatnot. So, just jumping over that hump or getting over that hurdle of like, I'll never be able to do this, even like far as transmissions or whatnot. Now, to this day, I cannot rebuild a transmission or whatnot. Well, if I learn and go through the learning curve, I'm sure I can. But I remember I had that feeling again when it came to the I can't remember, the 4L60s or whatnot. A lot of the Silverados or whatever in the Yukons, they was coming in back to back with a transmission recall where you had to replace the clutch plates. So you had to disassemble the whole transmission, put everything back together. Right around the pandemic time, that's when I ended up moving from Missouri at that dealership and coming over this way. But I was just about to, the manager said he was just about to start cutting me loose on doing the transmission rebuilds. And I didn't stay long enough, prior to coming over here. But yeah, just getting on that hurdle, just being able to say like, hey, I done something that I didn't even think I could do. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And that knowledge that I learned years ago, I'm applying that now. I done, as a mobile mechanic and me owning my own business, I done those piston recalls. Matter of fact, I got another one in my house right now. I got a 2016 Malibu. I got to do a piston recall on it. I don't have to do it. It just need time and change. But I know how to do it, and I'm gonna do it. That's
actually a teaching moment, actually, for young mechanics. Or getting in any blue-collar worker, electrical field, whatever field you're getting in, construction, that's actually a teaching moment of just bravery. Bravery to me, or to most people,
scary.
I guess, is you're scared. You're scared, but you're still going to do it. That shows bravery right there. And as you can see, if people watching this, he's turning those engines over, like it's nothing. You mentioned a guy named Steve when actually you did the when we was talking about mistakes and deals like that. You had me, Steve, and that brings me back to one of my other questions, and I think we kind of briefly went over there, with the relationships with other mechanics. And I guess the question is, did you have like an older guy to take you under your wing, or did you have to compete? And I know you kind of touched on that a little bit.
A little bit of both. There was a mechanic when I lived in Florida or whatnot. This was my second dealership job I ever worked, and I started out oil changing there or whatnot. And it's crazy. His name was Steve also. His name was Steve Best.
Wow.
Or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Best, one of the top 3 mechanics I ever met in my life. And he was real strict. He stayed on my neck. He was drill sergeant.
Shout out Steve.
Yeah, he's in the military or whatnot. And he just had that the attitude about him. But man, I seen him work miracles. I mean, it's nothing that this man did not know. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about from working on diesels, pulling diesel cabs off, cylinder heads, everything, transmissions, and he is an ASC certified mechanic, and I'm talking about his knowledge, his drive. He had, not only did he have the knowledge and experience, he had the physical drive and energy, and I think at the time that I worked with Steve Best, I think he was in his early 50s or something like that or whatnot, and he moved around like he was 19, man. And they put me under his wing. So when I ended up getting that job or whatever, I was right up shadowing him for 3 years. And he showed me so much. and he backed me up. Great guy. Yeah.
Shout out to guys like Steve.
Yeah,
I don't think we see a lot of those guys in these automotive shops. Kind of how we touch on, man. You go to these shops. For me, I have a Steve in my life? When I think about it, man, I don't think I really had a Steve, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was always competitive and kind of getting back, like I said, with the background of having a school background, touching on the school background, I was able to go in and get a little bit more money than these guys. So they always seen me as competition, and this guy shouldn't be getting paid more than me. I mean, rightfully so. I understand what they're saying, me no experience of what they're doing teaching me, and they get, I'm getting paid a little bit more than them. So I kind of get their way a little bit, but then I also get the way of like that gatekeeping stuff, man. How can this business move forward?
I'm not a fan of that at all, man.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's like, how can this business move forward if we're not teaching each other how to work on it? So I'm glad that we have these YouTube deals and we can just put that stuff on there because that's our Steve,
Yeah.
Just look them up. You got the guy Scotty Kilmer, which we mention all the time. There's other guys like that, Joseph Wyatt Repair. What is it? What is it called?
Wyatt's Auto Repair.
Wyatt's Auto Repair. And Baba's Automotive and deals like that.
Yeah, I need to post more on YouTube too. I'm on social medias, but I need to get on YouTube a lot more and put a lot more content out on the YouTube. But yeah, it's I look at it like this. When it comes to the automotive field and a lot of different fields, it's too much money out here for everybody to be stingy. You cutting your own self. You cutting, slicing your own throat by not working together.
Okay, my next question for you, Joe, we're going to talk about injuries in the mechanic field, and I like to always give an example of my injuries, or I always like to give my example so you're not alone, and where, give you a basis point to start with type of deal. Just far as injuries and deals like that, honestly, so many injuries that I can't even count. I want to. I'm pretty. This is a rhetorical question, but is it the same with you?
Yeah, I'll tell you my first one, which was about my worst one out of many. Moving too fast. So I had a Cadillac DeVille, car overheating, trying to slowly take the cap off. I knew better. I'm like, no, I can get it off carefully. Just let it ease out. Try to, just relieve a little bit of the pressure. Moving too fast, pop the cap too fast. Next thing I know, I'm holding my face with both of my hands when I come to stumbling in the grass, trying not to fall in the grass. I went straight to the hospital. By the time I made it to the hospital, my whole from this eye all the way down my neck was a dark pink. I had third or fourth degree burns, literally from here to here. So you know how, you on a bicycle, you get a scab and you get it down to the pink meat? From here to here, my face was pink.
Man.
Literally. I think this happened when I was like 23 years old. When I went to the hospital, they told me, said my face was going to be a scar permanently from here to here. And I don't know if I had third or fourth degree burns, but I was like, my face is just done. So literally, it went from a pink to a thick black scab. And I was working at a night job. I think I was working at Gilster's or whatever in Heron at the time. I'll never forget it. And the old lady, I was talking to her, and she, I was hiding my face a lot, trying to hide my face a lot or whatnot. And she said, do this. So she told me to get a couple of sticks of shea butter, just sticks of shea butter or whatever. And she said, just keep rubbing it on your face every day. Keep it moisturized. I think about 3 or 4 months later, it peeled off, and then my pigment, my skin color, all that stuff came back.
Message.
And I think that's the only thing that saved me from, having a permanent mark on my face or whatnot.
Shea butter sticks.
Yeah, shea butter. Shea butter. Yep. I went to, I don't remember where I got them at though, but yeah, I just kept rubbing it on my face, and it just healed it. I don't know what it was in there. She said something about the vitamin or whatever vitamins in there, but and like I said, when I went to the hospital, they said it'd never come back. They said that my face is gonna be like a permanent scar, look like a huge birthmark, basically. But I got blessed, and still didn't learn my lesson after that, because I didn't have plenty of other situations. But I'm learning to take care of myself better or whatever. You got to be safe under these cars. My father or whatever. And I to this day I feel bad for him, but he lost his eye, didn't have safety glasses on or whatnot. freak.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Actually, my next question was, have you seen firsthand anything worse than your injury?
Oh yeah, that was my father.
But was it your father or someone else worse than that?
I didn't actually witness it or whatever, but that's my father. About the worst injury that I seen personally, whatever, was my father. He lost his left eye. Him and my uncle was working on the car, my Uncle Corey. And he was working on my Uncle Corey car or whatnot, and my Uncle Corey was rushing him. And this is some freak accident stuff, and I know it sounds crazy. My uncle was there to witness it. They was arguing in the driveway. You know, our brothers argue and whatnot. So Corey is trying to get him to hurry up to finish the car. My dad had a rotor in his hand. He got so mad he took the rotor and slammed it on the ground. When it hit the ground, it hit the screwdriver. The screwdriver literally flipped up and got him right in the eye.
Oh man.
Yep.
Okay.
From arguing with, yep. I mean, freak accident, man. And my dad's a soldier, man. They everybody panicking. He just holding his eye or whatever. I wasn't there when it happened, but they told me the story. I ended up making it to the hospital like 3 days later because I jumped on the train and went up there or whatever.
Did he work after that? He worked on cars after that?
Yeah. No, he
still a soldier. That's why you say.
A month later, he was back under cars. It didn't slow him. It didn't stop him or nothing.
Can't keep a good man down.
Yeah.
Man.
So they trying to call the ambulance. He's like, no. He's like, he said they gonna charge me $4,000-$5,000. Just drive me there. And and they tried to save it, but you know he ended up losing it. But it didn't slow him down after he healed up. He just kept moving. He got used to the one eye and kept it pushing. And
that's a message. Another message. Safety first. And I always do my YouTube videos and I do my videos.
Dude, safety glasses. It's like car insurance. You never know when you're gonna need it. But when you need the safety glasses, I almost blinded myself, literally. I'm not joking. I think about 1.5 years ago, I was working on a car. Thank God that the car wasn't running. I just woke up that morning. I think it's about like 70 degrees out that morning. And thank God I wasn't running the car, but I was putting the AC compressor on there. And I was slowly trying to relieve the AC, the Freon out the system. Turning the boat too fast. Next thing I know is the hose explode and catch me dead in the eye. I'll close my eyes and stumble up to the tub upstairs and flush my eyes out. I finally got the courage to open up my eyes. And you know how when you wear glasses, it's cold outside, you walk in the house and you got that thick fog. That's how my vision was for about 3 hours. I thought I blinded myself.
You thought it was the eyesight
I thought it was over. I thought it was over, yeah. And I ended up making it to Walmart or whatnot. I grabbed a whole thing of Visine, walked in the bathroom, and just started flushing my eyes. And then, by the grace of God, my vision came back clear. But if that Freon was hot or at a different temperature, it'd have definitely blinded me. So basically, the oils in the Freon put a film over my eyelid lenses. So thank God, it wasn't too hot, because if that stuff was hot, it'd have been over.
Message to those younger people, man, coming up and getting in the automotive field. They always stress to you in those orientations. I'm gonna be honest, guys, and older people in general, when they're trying to tell you something, we need to listen.
Yeah,
we need to listen. And they're telling you the way you lift these, objects and deals like that before your back. You need to listen, because that stuff will really happen and you'll really get injured. Yeah. So, that orientation stuff, don't take it as a no joke, and take safety as, nothing to care about. Because as you can see these stories from Joe and his dad, your safety is nothing to play about.
It ain't worth it, man. Field. It ain't worth rushing.
Crazy question. You never seen anybody, pass away during this stuff, right?
Never had. I heard a bunch of stories, but I never seen nobody. No. I'm trying to think, too. I seen one thing one day or whatever, and it didn't hurt him, but it scared me and him shitless. He had a lower control arm, and he had the ball joint in the control arm. So he was trying to get it out. He had a torch. He was torching the ball joint or whatever at the end of the control arm. So I guess it got so hot, the grease built up pressure in the ball joint, it shot out like a 12 gauge. When the ball joint shot up, luckily it didn't hit him or hit him. If it would have hit him, it'd have been like a bullet. Cause I sat there and watched it went off like a 12 gauge shot, and his ears was ringing for about an hour. He didn't even know what happened. I sat there and watched him, and if that ball joint would have caught him anywhere, it'd have penetrated him or probably killed him. That was the closest thing I ever seen to somebody probably losing their life. And it's just got to slow down.
Joe, I want to ask you about, let's get into a little bit mobile mechanics now. What we're currently doing in your business, shout out your business. I'll ask you to state your business again.
Wyatt's Auto Repair.
Wyatt's Auto Repair in Gwinnett County. All right, so Wyatt's Auto Repair in Gwinnett County. Let me ask you, man, did you start that business just like other people? Like, it was like post-COVID, a lot of people got into, more businesses for themselves, sitting at home by yourself. A lot of people, probably getting laid off and not able to get money. Is that the time you started your business, or was it before, as far as your mobile business?
I say about a year or two after COVID, okay. I want to say. And it really wasn't because of COVID. The COVID situation ended up pushing me and amping me towards moving here finally getting the guts to come over here and just leave everything and everybody and pursue my dream. I always wanted to run my own business over the years or whatnot, but I never really put my foot down on the ground and dug into it until I moved here. Yeah, I done a little bit of here and there. I always was heavy at the shops, but I'll do mobile mechanic stuff here and there, but I really never was into it like I am now until I moved to this area.
Okay, how long have you been a mechanic in general, and how long have you been a mobile mechanic?
Okay, I'm 41 now, so I've been a mechanic since the age 19.
Okay.
Or whatnot. And when I say that, because that's the first car I ever fixed in my life at the age 19. Mobile mechanic, and it's crazy, it just dawned on me because I went to go get my LLC reinstated. So I'm thinking in my head that I registered for the first time for my LLC like 3 years ago. When I went and looked at the documentation and paid for the reinstatement fee and everything when I went downtown Atlanta or whatnot, was 2020. So it's been 6 years.
6 years.
It's been almost double the time that I'm thinking that I was in business, because that's how much the time flew by. Blew my mind. I said there's no way I was in business for like 5+ years, and I have been.
And taking care of yourself.
Yeah, yep.
Doing that.
Yep.
Taking care of your kid. Doing it.
Yep.
How do you promote your business?
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
Word of mouth.
And I need to stop procrastinating. Get on Google, get me a website going, and I'm old school about a lot of stuff, so I want to start, I want to get some car flyers printed out and business cards, because word of mouth, that is just some stuff that never go away, like emails. They'll never go away.
Word of mouth will definitely help you also.
Yes, yeah.
Word of mouth, and I would say Instagram actually helped me. I did not know it was actually real. See, this social media stuff I'm new with also. I'm like a dinosaur. I didn't know a lot of this stuff was real. Like IG, I thought it was like fake views and people. But one time I said, okay, let me put like a $20, $30 promotion towards this ad. I'm putting all my stuff on there. And people just started calling me left and right. So it's like they giving us the power in our hand to promote ourselves. Like, this is our own TV, our own, put our own marketing dollars towards it, and we can get, you can promote to people literally in your town, your city, and specifically where you're at with social media.
And I didn't know the power of it until I moved here, because I never had a Facebook page or whatever until I moved to the Atlanta area. And that was really the only reason I got it. But people was like, just get on Facebook, post it on Facebook or whatnot. And
has it helped you a lot?
Yes. I get a lot of calls. Hey, I seen your videos, and I get a lot of that Instagram, mostly on Facebook and Instagram. TikTok, get a couple bites there, but like I said, I need to go ahead and start using YouTube or whatever. I need to utilize that. I got a promoter. Hope I pronounce her name. I ain't trying to butcher her name. Salome. She lives in the Philippines.
Okay.
So I met her through a client that I put a motor in her Audi or whatnot. So she runs a real estate business. she uses Salome also. So, you know, she got the little packages, 150, 250, 350 a month, and it has the different package promotion packages and all that. And she's helped me out a lot. I've been dealing with her for about 1.5 years, and I'm not letting her go. Yeah, you know, I just make sure I send her money every month. And she posts my stuff 3 times a week. Yeah.
I think, okay, now let's get in, like, I would say this is the meat and potatoes of this interview. You might like this question. What is the difference between the traditional mechanic and the mobile mechanic? What is the biggest difference for you? Traditional mechanics at shop and a mobile mechanic. What is the biggest difference you see?
The workload.
The workload? Okay.
Okay, so, I mean, it's so many aspects, man, you can go over. Let's just start with the time.
Let's go.
On a typical day as a mobile mechanic, if you moving, you're going to spend anywhere from 40 to 70% of the day moving around.
What's the biggest difference between a mobile mechanic and a traditional mechanic from your experience? Example, like I said, I like to give an example. You know, the traditional mechanic, they just get their ticket, they do their work, they go home. Mobile mechanic, I just wanted you to get into the deals we have to do, traveling, dealing with customers, you know, and deals like that.
Well, you definitely got to have a lot stronger mindset, I'll tell you right now. Because like you were saying earlier, you got to pay so many roles and position as a business owner. Now, my experience or whatnot, which I'm sure a lot of mobile mechanics experience, was when I worked at the dealership, all I had to do was fix the car and write up the paperwork. Now I had to be the parts retriever. I have to travel. So that cuts in a lot of time. I have to be the manager. I had to to be the service writer. I had to deal with all the clients or whatnot. So you have to wear all the hats. Instead of wearing just one hat as a technician, you have to wear 5 of them, you know? And sometimes in certain positions, you got to wear even more, which kills you on time.
And that's what people don't understand.
The time, man.
One of the biggest difference for me is customers and dealing with customers. Now, I've grown to understand shops, and back in the day, I used to give shops a hard time and say they cheat people also, and, you know, deals like that. But I've grown, and I've always said to myself, well, the mechanics should talk to the customer themselves so they can get, you know, no third person. They get exactly what's going on. But as I got into the mobile mechanic business, I had to deal with customers, and I've never really talked to customers like, you know, as a traditional mechanic. And it honestly, it was good and bad, right? Everything has its good and bad, but I also want to ask you about the good things also about dealing with customers. But the bad for me also about dealing with customers was, like I was saying, it was good and bad with dealing with the customers. And I've had to learn as a mobile mechanic to actually talk to customers.
Oh, yeah.
Traditionally, I would never talk to customers. I'm a person a loner. I like to stay by myself. You know, I don't really talk to people. But being that I'm mobile, I have to talk to people.
Yeah.
Do you have to experience that also, or you just, you know, more a social person?
Oh, man. Yeah, you definitely got to be a social butterfly. You got to be a great communicator. Man. And you have to make sure that you communicate slowly to these customers and make them understand, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how this is going to play out. These are the possibilities of this repair. It's 100% guaranteed this is going to work out, or there is a certain slight chance that, you know, we may have to go back in there again and again, you know. So you just got to learn how to communicate with people. Your communication skills have to be on point. And one of the hardest things I noticed through the day or whatnot on a typical day is answering that phone. Not that you don't want to answer the phone, but for example, you may be under a vehicle or whatever, and you knee deep in it, and you need that mental focus, your phone ringing. So you got to stop what you're doing, get off track, talk to the customer. And then there's a lot of customers that I deal with, you know, great people, but they won't let you get off the phone.
Me too.
They'll sit there and talk, and, you know, you got to learn how to professionally and respectfully talk to people. You got to learn how to professionally and respectfully tell people no. You know, you got to keep it balanced. You can't be too good-hearted in this field. And one thing I learned or whatever, as far as like communicating with customers or whatever, me telling them no doesn't make me a bad mechanic or a bad business owner.
Message.
You know, it be certain times where you can legitly tell a customer they're on a certain situation and you feel like you feel like the bad person. Even though you're going by protocol, you're staying professional and you're staying on the path or whatnot and doing that customer right, you still feel like you guilty just for doing the right thing in certain situations or whatnot. So you gotta be mentally strong and learn how to communicate with the customers or whatnot. So
I agree, and having structure and deals like that. And I agree what you were saying about answering the phone. For me, my business and my protocol, I do not even answer the phone. I have an automatic message that I sent you. Hey, this is Jerry from Baba's Automotive. Send me your year, make, and model of your vehicle. Also a brief description of what's going on. I get back with you with the quote and my next best availability. I send that automatically because just like you're saying, I'm under a car, and you said exactly what I go through. If I do pick up the phone, could be an old sweet lady on that phone on the other end trying to tell me everything that's going on, and I have to get back to a job or I have to answer another customer. And I agree with you. Message to the young guys out there coming up, it's about structuring your mobile business, guys getting out on your own. It's about structure and having that structure, having that protocol to where you not stressful. Another thing dealing with this business is you have to deal with a lot of stress. All that stuff that we just mentioned, having to deal with customers now, 3 hours in your car, wait time, just driving around, being mobile. That's the things we don't think of, saying, hey, I want to be a business owner, I want to run my business, or I can do what the shops do.
Takes a lot.
We don't take that into consideration of all the stuff they have to go through and the things they have to pay for, like the scanners and deals like that. Like I said, we used to say the shops cheating people, but in hindsight, are they?
No. My opinion, no. In a lot of these shops, I try to let a lot of customers understand. My prices aren't cheaper than the shop due to the fact that, the shop is bad and I'm good. No, I am able to afford to cut prices. If I owned the shop or had a situation or I had to make sure I had to keep the lights on and pay 6 different technicians that's working under my business or whatnot, I have no choice but to charge you at a certain rate. It's not because the shop is screwing you over. It's because the shop cannot afford to give you the prices that I can. So I let them know my policy is, I tell my customers or whatnot, I beat shop prices because I can. That's it.
You don't have the same overhead. You're not on the busiest street in Atlanta. Car dealership, calls 20,000 a month. Man. I used to give shops a hard time also, but now I do understand. I even understand the service advisor part. And again, that's what you was talking about, communicating with customers. Let me ask you also, what is your biggest payday as a mobile mechanic? Payday.
I think the biggest payday I ever had in one day, I can't remember. Man, that's a good question.
Yeah, I got about 600 one day, almost 700 one good day.
I say right around there or whatnot.
That was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good.
BMW, it's off one job. I put a subframe. I charged it. This was crazy. I charged the guy. I can't remember what I charged. I think I charged him like 400 something like that. And I can't remember. Don't hold it to me. I think he gave me like 800, 900 something. Like he tipped me literally like $300 on the job. This was a BMW 330i when I had to drove all the way down to Douglasville, and the frame snapped in 2 different places because those frames are aluminum. They make a lot of those BMW frames aluminum, so they're easier to break. So the kid ended up hitting the dish or whatever and snapping the frame. I replaced the whole frame, I think, in a matter of like 6 hours or something like that or whatnot. And I couldn't recall exactly what the amount was, but I know he tipped me about $200 or $300. Because here's the thing, that same amount that I charge him is probably triple, if not quadruple, at the dealership or shop. So he was just so happy or whatever. He's like, here, man, just take this. And I was like, what?
Is that your reason for not going back to shops? Is because of paydays like that? Because that's my reason. I always like to give an example. My reason, if I can get $600 in one day, imagine if I apply myself and get that every day.
I'll tell you what, my main reason for not going to shops, and this is not all the shops that I done worked at, but a few of them, I see some snakery going on in there. The technicians get underpaid. It's not enough unity in the shops.
Okay.
We're not all working as one.
Okay.
So that was my main reason. Now, not all the shops, but I done seen a lot of shops, screw over customers and overcharge customers on stuff they shouldn't have been charged on. And there's good shops and bad shops out there. So those are the two main reasons, underpaying the mechanics and overcharging the clients.
Okay. So why do you think, because the CEO of Ford, as you know, they're looking for thousands of jobs.
Heard about that.
Right,
Yeah.
thousands of permission, thousands of positions to fill, $120,000 a year, and of course, that comes with benefits. But why do you think we're losing mechanics, if you don't mind?
Because the manufacturers aren't sharing the wealth. You can Google it. You can look how much money they make annually or whatnot. And, I can't say how many billions. I don't know the exact numbers, between Chevrolet, Ford, and all this or whatnot, Mercedes or whatnot. But when it comes just to the dealership perspective, these technicians are not getting compensated what they're supposed to, just plain and simple. Okay. Recalls, warranty work. My opinion, if you're doing the job, you should get paid your actual rate. If it's a recall or a warranty job, it's not that mechanic fault that the engineers at GM screwed up 750,000 alternators or whatever and engineered it wrong. It's not our fault. Because I'm going to tell you at the end of the day, as a mechanic working at a dealership or any shop, if you screw that car up from doing the actual repair or the labor on the vehicle, you gotta pay for that. You got to pay for that with your time, and you got to go back in there and fix that vehicle. Okay. You're fully liable for that. So the manufacturer, when they mess up, when they engineer a vehicle or they got recalls on there, they should be fully liable for their mistakes.
Let me ask you, man, and we kind of wrapping it up, getting a little bit towards the end there, but what do you recommend, all this said, about the jobs and what we said about the mechanic field and deals like that, what do you recommend for younger or older people, because older people can start late, getting in this business, how to navigate like flawlessly? Would you recommend them going to school? Would you recommend them, how do you recommend them like just moving in this field, knowing that they're going to probably come up against guys who don't want to show them and put them under the wing, and and hopefully they can meet guys like Steve and deals like that. How do you navigate a younger self?
Yeah.
If you would you have did it differently, or would you yourself, have kept it the same as you did it to be the person you are today?
Me, I started with my degree or whatnot. So I started with 4-year college or whatever and started there. I would have started in the shop first. I would have got the real world experience or whatnot. Then I would have went and got the education.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is whatever, because I got my heart broke right after I graduated from the 4-year degree. I ended up leaving the SIU with my bachelor's in automotive. I think 2 years later, I moved to Paducah, Kentucky. I walked in there and my shit did not stink, man. I thought I was the top of the world. I went in there to an interview. This was for BMW, actually. I can't remember if it was a BMW or Mercedes dealership. Anyways, I had the interview. I thought went well. I called him a week later and I asked the manager straight out. I'm like, sir, why? What was the problem? I got a 4-year degree in this. He said, yeah, but you have a bachelor's degree, but you do not have real world experience.
So you would suggest these kids
and
go get a little bit of experience? Go get a little bit of experience?
Yeah.
Go get some schooling?
Yeah, that's it depends, because depending on the degree you get in the automotive field, like some go out just to be a mechanic and work in the field, and some go out just to work at corporations. You'll get a 2-year or 4-year degree in automotive, and you may never turn a wrench in your life. You may be working for corporate. You may be pushing, you may be an accountant or whatnot. You may be on a corporate level where you never had to touch a car.
And I do want to reiterate to the viewers that, like I said, 80% of the shops, probably 90%, if not more, of the shops I've been into, most of the mechanics don't have certifications, and that's not to undermine them. That's, to be honest with you, most of them guys can do better jobs than me. We're just talking about, the mechanic field, that's just one of those fields you don't have to have certifications going into. Like I said, you can get your dad is teaching you, somebody put you on the wing and deals like that. So not having certification is not a bad thing. We're just giving you the options of having certifications and not having certifications. And just wrapping it up again, I have 2 more questions for you real quick before we get up out of here, man. What is the goal of your company? Is it to stay small as one person? You want a small shop, or you want to grow and franchise like a McDonald's and has Wyatt's, don't want to say it wrong, Wyatt's auto repair everywhere like a McDonald's?
Okay, I'll try to make this quick as I can, but my dream would be to eventually open up my first shop, of course. And then, franchise off, anywhere from, in the perfect world, my dreams would fill anywhere from 3 to 6 shops.
Okay.
You know, down the line. I don't care if it takes 5 years. I don't care if it takes 20. Now, once I get to the point to where I'm comfortable and I got my shops running smoothly or whatever, if I got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or whatever I feel comfortable with at the moment, opening up my own automotive shops is not my end goal. It's just part of the journey. My dream goal is to be a teacher.
To be a teacher, to teach
the teacher, to take these years of experience, take all the knowledge, just have that story to pass off to the next generation. So after I get my business established and I get to the point to where I can quote unquote retire and have passive income, and I don't have to turn another wrench, and I have so many mechanics and so many shops working up under me or whatnot, under my name, I want to take that income. I want to do what I can or whatever to open up my own little miniature university and just teach the children. Even if I'm just doing summer programs and, spring and summer programs or whatnot.
That's good.
And then also another thing I want to do is just teach society, just teach people out there. You know how many people out there that don't know how to change their oil or don't know how to inspect the car? Just little miniature classes like that, do programs where I have people come in and literally change their own oil. Just get them little, 2-3 week crash courses on how to, inspect the car and protect yourself or whatnot. Because just a little bit of knowledge can keep you from blowing the engine or buying a lemon or just, over the years I've seen so many people get screwed over or lose their car or whatever just off not knowing just the basic knowledge.
Hey, man, I agree with a lot of things you said in this interview. Have one more question. Take a couple seconds to answer it. This could be a rhetorical question. Who has the hardest profession in the world that you know of? Like, to think of now. You got the electricians, the plumbers, the contractors. It's not just us. Who will you give that title to? The hardest professional in the world. We have teachers, police, firemen.
That's a good question.
Think before you say it. A lot of people might be mad, man.
Honestly, I would say stress-wise, I would say any type of person that's in the medical field, a doctor, a surgeon, because in the automotive field, I know we deal with a lot of stress, but dealing with all that stress on top of having a person's hands literally in your life, I think it's a faster way to that stress versus a mechanic. I would say when a mechanic is one of the top 3, if you ask me or whatnot, because we have people's lives in our hands.
Even the doctor lives in our hands.
Exactly. So, if I would have had to say, I would say number 1, surgeons, doctors, Number 2, I would say mechanics, I guess. And then if I had to choose number 3, I guess construction or, yeah.
You good, man. You good, man. Thank you. That's what I want to know, man. Thank you for doing this interview with us, man.
All right.
Guys, go look up Joseph. I'm sorry, this is his name. Give us the name of the company.
Mechanic
again.
Joe on Facebook, on Instagram, Wyatt's Auto Repair, all lower caps. And then just looking at Lawrenceville area, Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Okay, guys, follow him on social media.
Check it out. Maybe we will. Nice doing business with you, Slim.